what are some like major tips outside of, the memory techniques are powerful, they're great, right? When once you use them, they're very helpful, but that's not all that it takes for you to become a successful student, or successful in anything in particular, but specifically right now for school. You need other things such as the right mindset,
Yeah.
such as having other motivational factors to really push you through school, because there's going to be ups and downs, and it's not always just about studying, it's about other factors that come into play when you're in school. So what are some tips that you would give to right now, say even first year college students, that maybe just finished their first semester or going into their first semester? What would you give? What advice would you give to those types of students to kind of help them out throughout the college and university experience?
My big one, and I always say this, is use the Pomodoro Technique. And you've
You
probably heard of
stole
this,
mine.
Lewis. Oh, okay. So we're both big on this.
Yeah.
We're both big on this. Um,
I'm pretty sure I taught her how to do this, just to clear the air.
okay. All right.
Side note.
That's the most
I
specific way.
invented this. I just
I didn't invent it, but I brought it to her
yeah.
attention.
You brought it into this family, and now it's a big deal in our family. So the basic idea is that you want to work for a concentrated period of time, but then allow yourself a dedicated break so that your mind can rest, your eyes can rest. And so what we do is 25 minutes on. And during that time, you don't check your email, you don't look at your phone, you don't fidget with your music, you don't do anything. And it's short enough that you can tell yourself, my gosh, I can do anything for 25 minutes. I can have self-discipline for 25 minutes. And then you take 5 minutes off and you rest, you get up, drink water, go to the bathroom, and then you do that. And then every 4 cycles, you can have a 15-minute break. And since starting it, and you can, it's probably the same for you, you really realize how much time 25 minutes is and how much you can really get done if I'm not looking at my phone, checking Facebook.
Yeah, another thing I'll do is I like to just keep track of the number of Pomodoros that I've done. So every time I finish one, I'll go over to our fridge and I have this little paper where I'll just put a little tally mark. And that way I can keep track, at the end of the day, if I've done 16 Pomodoros, that was a good day, and I can kind of motivate myself that way to get enough done, so that if I do, maybe only 7, I'm like, okay, well, didn't get that much done today, and sort of motivate myself that way. Yeah. Another nice thing I like about it is, it can be a little daunting. If you just say, okay, I'm going to spend today studying for 10 hours, like she said, there's obviously no way you can just study 10 hours straight and be a sane person afterwards. So it's nice to have these little breaks in there built in. You can last 25 minutes and then just take that break. And then during that break, you can also, I like to just get out a book and read or watch a YouTube video or something. And that way, I have these kind of set periods of time where I can give myself some sort of reward. And, by the end of 10 hours, even if I'm studying for 10 hours, I felt like I got this sort of, little dopamine hits throughout that time to keep me going, to feel like by the end of that time, I wasn't just boring myself out of my mind or anything like that. So yeah, we like that method.
Yeah.
And then I guess, if I'll say something else, a thing that I like to do in terms of productivity or whatever, I think one good thing is for students is to try to come up, get a pretty consistent daily routine. And so a big part of that, for instance, would be waking up at the same time every day. So if you kind of do that and you wake up at the same time every day, and that you kind of are supposed to finish breakfast by point X and this thing by point Y, then you can get into a routine that cuts down on the amount of kind of wasted transition time that you have throughout the day. And I think that tends to make people more productive.
So this is what I mean about him being really disciplined, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So gotta stick to that schedule, because even let's say we're using the Pomodoro method and you're taking the breaks. You schedule 5 minutes, and sometimes you're just like, we'll get another 5 minutes. Oh wait, another 10 minutes.
Right,
Another,
right.
whatever. So you you're off track now, and then you're a few hours deep into your break that should have spent
Right.
taken 5 minutes. So like you said, set a schedule and force yourself to keep that schedule. And it does become easier the more that you do it. It becomes a habit after a
Definitely.
while, right? Where you do it several times, and at first you're gonna have to force yourself to go through it, but then afterwards it's just like, all right, I guess it's a habit now. It's like brushing your teeth at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's more of a unconscious activity.
Yeah.